Okay, so I am going to record an addendum to, this is an addendum to my previous video submission on the secret versus positive psychology, a tale of two videos. So what I would like to add to this is I want to talk a little bit about the different types of stress that I deal with personally on a daily basis within my work life and my home life. Basically with work, I'm faced with multiple deadlines, and many times they are going to all have the same level of severity, and it makes it very difficult to prioritize and to evaluate which project I need to tackle first. So I'm a manager for a large company, and I'm responsible for multi-million-dollar accounts. I also have 43 associates that report to me, and I'm responsible for their production, their timeliness, as well as their quality. I also have several platforms within the company that I'm responsible to make sure are available to my associates. So additionally, I have to also ensure that all reports, documents, that they're all uploaded and available within the appropriate timeline so the associates have them so that they can complete their projects. I also have to make sure that I'm available for any ad hoc meetings that come up, as well as making sure that I attend any regularly scheduled meetings that I have or conference calls. And I have found in the past that sometimes I get so wrapped up in different projects that I'm doing that I look at the clock and think, okay, I got 5 minutes, I can finish doing this, and then I need to jump on that call. And then I'll look up the clock, it seems like just a second later, and it's 15 minutes gone by, and I'm already 10 minutes late for my meeting. So those are the types of things that really add stress to my day with my work life. So my home life also comes into play and adds more levels of stress to my daily life. I have children that are still home. I have to make sure that they're bathed, fed, dressed, make sure that they're ready for the bus and for daycare. I have to get the one to daycare every day, make sure I'm back on time for any meetings that I have going on. Then after school, I have to make sure that I'm available when the one comes in from the bus, showing me all of his work that he's done for the day. I have to show that interest there. I have to make sure that I help with the homework, and then I have to get dinner. I have to listen to what's transpired from their day, make sure I'm at daycare in time to pick the baby up. I have to make sure that they eat their meals, make sure that they have any medications that they might need, as well as nightly bedtime rituals and getting them to bed on time, and then making sure the house is picked up for the next day. It's just on and on and on. And those stress levels mount during the day as you encounter all the different items that have to be taken care of and that transpire throughout the day. In addition, with my home life, I'm also a full-time caretaker for my parents. I live in an adjoining duplex to them. Thank goodness at the current time there's not a lot that has to be done, but I have to make sure that they have the food that they need in their home. I have to make sure that their doctor's appointments are scheduled, and if they need me to go with them, I need to make sure I'm there with them to be able to translate any thing that the doctor may say. So there's a lot of stress that goes with work and with home life for me that I have to balance. For the most part, I think the majority of the time I handle the stress fairly well. I do that by making sure, first of all, that I get adequate rest and adequate exercise. I have to make sure that within all of that bedlam that transpires during the day, I do take time to exercise. I have to make sure that I take stretching breaks during the day. I've got to make sure that I get out and just clear my head. Sometimes just walking around the block, that helps. I can still do work items while I'm walking and thinking. But sometimes that's what I just need to get away from the desk and be able to do things like that to help release some of that stress. When I begin to feel overloaded, I will make myself sit down, evaluate the situations, and evaluate what must be the highest priority, what I need to tackle first. If I have a variety of items, then I might just decide, okay, this can be tackled first because I can get this done and this done and this done and get these 3 things out of the way, and then I can concentrate on this big item that's really looks overwhelming to me. And when I break things down in pieces, a lot of times then I can start to conquer the big giants as I break them down into pieces. So I've also learned that I can get help from coworkers and from family. I've learned to do a lot of delegating. That goes a long way to helping with stress levels. And so, like I said, for the most part, I do balance the stress fairly well. A few months ago, I was faced with some serious personal issues. And there were also some major changes going on at work with some layoffs and some things that I had to have some major critical decisions that I had to be part of. At that time, there was some personal things going on within my life that I had to deal with. And it was right about that time that I got the information back from CFA that I had not followed some of the criteria to the expectations that should have been followed. Some misunderstandings that I had on my part. And I did not take that very well. I didn't handle all that stress that hit me in a way that I would have thought that I would have handled it. I had to just more or less back off for a few months, and I kind of dropped the ball with school. I've kind of let everything just sit there while I was regrouping. I think that was my way of handling all that extra stress. I had to prioritize my family and my work. And at that time, I had to just let school go for a few months. And since things have started settling down, I've been able to regroup, I've been able to reprioritize, and now I am at a point that I can accept on that responsibility again. I'm able to rekindle that desire to complete my AA degree, and I'm finally getting back on track with that. So I guess, a long story short, I have always been a very hardy individual. I have an appropriate amount of self-efficacy. I am able to adapt to most situations. I am usually able to ensure that I can conquer any problem by adapting to the situation. I've also found that remaining optimistic can help me stay and fight when situations get rough. I think, like I said a few months ago, the fight or flight scenario came into play, and I took the flight route as far as school and dropped that for a few months. But now I've chosen to take the ball back up and start fighting. No more fleeing for me, no more flight. Basically, I've learned to adapt the 4 A's. Avoid, alter, adapt, and accept. I've tried to avoid unnecessary stress. Altering, I've been able to do that by altering certain situations that cause the stress. And then in some instances, I've had to adapt the situations that's causing the stress. And then finally, I'm learning to accept things that I can't change and to just find a way to make it work. So with that final thought, I'm going to wrap up this addendum. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.